Hi, it's Stewart Fraser, PGA Professional at Sneinton Golf. Today we have the Ping 425 range of fairway woods to review for you. They've kindly sent us all three models, so they've sent us the Max, the LST and the SFT to try. Really looking forward to hitting these, so let's get out there and put them through their paces. The first thing to mention with the new fairway woods are the two new technologies that Ping have introduced. First of all, a thing called face wrap technology, where the sole plate and the crown of the golf club are slightly thinner to help with flexing at impact. That's going to create higher ball speeds, but also a much higher launch. Secondly, we have spin consistency, where Ping have actually reduced the loft on the lower part of the face. Now, the lower part of the face is typically where most golfers will hit the golf ball from. And when they hit it off that part, it tends to spin up a little bit and lose distance. But by reducing the loft, that should still give you greater distances on the most common off-centre hit. So that was a little low on the club face. Testing the spin consistency. Now looking at the data on that one, we have lost a little bit of distance. However, my previous shots out the centre of the club face went 219, 220 yards. That one I've lost about 7 yards. So overall, I'm quite happy with the performance of that, considering how badly I've struck it. So I'm going to have a go with the 425 Max head first, which is Ping's primary model. We'll have a few shots with this and put it through its paces, but the first thing I've noticed when I've popped that in down behind the golf ball is the new 3-dot system they've introduced on the crown. Now, this is to form a visual cue for golfers to help you line the ball up out the centre of the club face, and it certainly looks better. Another noticeable thing for me, personally, is we've got rid of the turbulators on the top of the golf club, which I like. It's a much more traditional looking golf club from the top. I much prefer this to the previous models that Ping have had. Right, let's have a few shots with this thing, see how it feels. So I've hit 4 or 5 shots with the Max now, and the first impressions are it feels really solid. It's really easy to hit, but the one thing I'm really surprised by is just how accurate this thing is. The dispersion is really tight, and I'm finding it quite hard to get this ball moving, shaping left to right in the air. It's really difficult to get this thing going offline. So next we've got the SFT. Now the noticeable differences in this is the head, immediately when I get it in behind the golf ball, there's a lot more room at the heel of the golf club, so they've made the head a lot deeper and a lot bigger towards the heel, towards the hosel of the golf club. Now, this enables them to put more weighting in that area to allow the toe to come in a little bit faster. Hopefully square the face for the guy that hits it to the right. But also, the weight behind the heel of the golf club will be the slicer's most typical point of contact on the golf club. So that should help you get more distance on your off-centre hits. Let's give this thing a whirl. Yeah, immediately a noticeable difference in height. I think that's because the weight on this one is further back as well. But also I've immediately got that thing moving a little bit right to left in the air. So these are all 3 woods that we're trying. However, they've all got adjustable hosels, so they can be adjusted up or down to suit and dial in the trajectory that you require. Also, the club can be made up to 3 degrees flatter, as well as 1.5 degrees more or less lofted. Finally, we've got the LST. This should be the one that suits me the best in theory. Keep the spin down, the weight's a little bit further forward. And you can see immediately when you get this club in down behind the golf ball, it's a completely different head shape from the other two. Whereas the SFT was much deeper at the back, and the Max to a degree deeper at the back than the LST. This one is a lot more slimline profile. It looks more pleasant in behind the golf ball. Probably not quite as easy to hit, and it certainly won't fly as high as the other two. Also, this has a little bit less loft, so as standard in a 3-wood, this is 14.5 degrees. Let's see what sort of trajectory we get from this. Firstly, completely different noise. So a really different noise off the club face. It sounds a little more hollow, which I'm not actually sure I like the sound of. Let's have another go. A little bit out of the toe, that one. Let's see if we can find the middle. It does really come off the face fast, no question, but I'm actually not sure I like the shape of this one personally as much as the other two. It doesn't feel quite as easy to hit as the other two. So we're just heading out onto the golf course to try this. Now I've picked the Max head. So far, based on feel and ball flight and dispersion, this is actually my favourite. I know the LST should be, and it looks prettier at address, but this is just so easy to hit, and regardless of standard of golfer, that's what you need. You need something that's really easy and it gives you confidence. I also want to see how the sole plate of these reacts hitting a ball off turf. So see whether I'm getting similar results on the grass to what I am doing off my mat in the bay. So what I'm going to do with this golf club is I'm going to put it through its paces in a couple of different conditions that you would typically get when you're out on the golf course. First of all, I've got a decent fairway lie. So I've popped it up on a nice bit of grass. We'll see whether it's just as easy and just as accurate as what it was when we were back in the bay. That's really solid. It's giving me the same feel out here as it is doing indoors. In with a little bit of grass in between club face and ball. That felt really solid. It went high, it went straight. Fantastic. It feels really good. The next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to pop it on a small tee peg, if I can find it, because this club as well, it's 14.5 degrees. It will be typically played off the tee quite a lot. If you've got a golf hole in front of you don't want to hit driver, 3-wood feels easier to hit straight. Pull this out the bag, hopefully smash it down the middle. Really similar performance to what it was off the deck, to be fair, but this is a real test now. I'm going to pop it down here on the grass and I'm going to give myself a little bit of a bad lie. I won't pop it in that divot, but this ball now is definitely sat down. Give it a little bit of a tap and see whether we can still get it airborne out of this bad lie. I might have to dig for this one a little bit. It's flown a little more left to right than the others, but I would expect that. I've hit that lower down on the club face, so that was a really good test of the spin consistency technology that they've got in this head. It still seemed to keep the ball flight down, which was good, but I still got enough flight on the ball to end up with a successful shot. So Ping have sent us the 3 stock shaft options as well. So we have the Old Dealer Rogue, the Ultra CB and the Tensai Orange. They're available at no upcharge. As well, there are different loft options in each model. So in the LS, we just have a 14.5 degree adjustable 3-wood. But then we go to the SFT and that moves on to 3, 5 and 7 wood. But then in the Max head, they add an additional 9 wood to those options. Overall, with a 425 range, I've been really impressed by each one. They all do very different jobs. The LST, much lower spin, much lower flight. The SFT definitely causes the ball to curve a little right to left in the air. For me personally, it would definitely reduce any shots to the right for the average golfer, reduce the slice that you get on the golf ball. And the Max just feels really easy to hit, and the dispersion with this was the tightest out of any of the clubs I used today. It's also a little bit hot off the face and a little bit longer than the other two, which personally again I like. All 3 are adjustable, so you can dial in that trajectory to whatever distance you want and get the gapping in your bag absolutely correct. So overall, massively impressed with this range of new fairway woods from Ping. Which one would I buy though? Yeah, the LST is probably the one that's designed for me. It should suit me in theory, but I would absolutely, if I had to choose one of them, I would pop the Max in the bag every single time. It's much easier to hit. The dispersion was really tight, and I just feel as though this thing just pops up in the air of a range of different lies on the golf course as well. I love it. Favourite fairway wood of 2021. Feel free to let us know in the comments box below which you think would be your favourite, but don't forget to like and subscribe and keep an eye out for more great videos. Bye for now.